In this video, I'm going to model for you how you can use the Loft command in order to create block number 8. And then you're going to use that, if you're in my class at least, to create block number 7. If you're not in my class, your teacher might ask you to do something a little bit different. So for block number 8, if you think about it, there's really 3 sketches here that are being lofted, but it's not one loft because we don't have curve. It's 2 separate ones. I'm going to start with the smallest piece and then work my way up to the biggest. So I will start with the rectangle that we see up front, the one that is 2 units by 5 units. So 2 units is going to be ½ inch. So let me start a rectangle at the origin. I always want to work at the origin or try to when I'm working with Loft, because it'll make things line up a lot easier, a lot nicer. So the height will be ½ inch. I'm really gonna have to zoom in after I'm done with this. And the width is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm just doing that rectangle you see all the way in the front left corner of the shape. So 5 is going to be 1.25 inches. Okay, let me zoom in. All right, I have my rectangle, and now I need to do, since I'm going to loft this, the next sketch. That's my first sketch. I'm going to need to do the sketch below it. So I'm going to need to create a new UCS. If you haven't already watched the video on creating a UCS and Loft, make sure you do that now. Do not watch this without watching those, because this is like, we're making big leaps here, and you don't want to be confused as you're going through because you're rushing. So we're going to lower our UCS. I'm going to type in a new origin of 0, 0, I'm going to go down instead of up because I really want this to go in the progression it is on the shape. You could go the other way, I guess, but you would need to do some weird rotation. And I don't really, I can just type in a negative number and then I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to type in for the negative number whatever my depth is for the second sketch. So the second sketch is going to be as deep as this triangular cutout goes in the front right corner of the shape. So how deep does that go? That goes 3 units in, which is going to be 0.75. And then I'll place my X and my Y. I was sure to be careful to make sure I didn't click on here on that rectangle. And then I'm just going to do a quick rotation and make sure that my plane, my new plane, is parallel to the rectangle I've drawn. If it comes out weird, don't worry about it. Just click down here and go back to WCS and start over, and you will be good to go. But I placed this correctly, so I'm now going to start my second sketch. I'm again going to draw a rectangle. I snapped the top view so I can see that these things line up properly. 0, 0, because I want that bottom left corner to be in the same spot. And then my width is going to be the same width as the overall width of the shape, because this cuts all the way to the end width-wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, which is going to be 2 inches. And then my height is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. If you look closely, it looks like there's half a block there, so it's 4.5 inches. Sorry, not 4.5 inches, 4.5 blocks, which is going to be 1.125 inches. And I'll just rotate to make sure that these look right. They do. Good. And then I will draw another rectangle, started at 0, 0. The width is going to be the same. It's going to be 2 inches. And then it's going to be the height of the overall shape, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, which is going to translate to 1.5 inches. Now, before I loft this, here's a common mistake. Oh, I made a big mistake. I put that sketch on. I forgot to lower my UCS, so I put the sketch in the wrong place. Let me undo that. I need to lower my UCS first. So I'm going to go again to new UCS. And what I'm doing is going to be based off of this current coordinate system I'm working in. So I need to lower this another 2 units in for the depth. If I look, this back sketch is going to be 2 units in. So I will type 0, 0, -2. Oh no, I made a big mistake. It's not 0, 0, -2 because it's 2 units. 2 units is half an inch. So new UCS 0, 0, -0.5. Now my grid's in the right place. Good, good. Snap back to my top view. Draw a rectangle. 0, 0. Now you don't have to snap back to your top view to do this. You can do it this way if that's easier for you. I like to snap back to the top view because I just like to look at sketches at 90 degrees. But, you know, this isn't an absolute. I don't always do that. Sometimes I don't. So I'll type in my width is 2 inches. And then my height, like I said before, is going to be 6 units, which is going to be 1.5. Now, going back to what I was saying earlier, here's a common mistake I see with Loft. People will just draw lines between these sketches. They'll just go through and think it's okay to just kind of make this shape. Let me just do the top one so I can do a little bit less to demonstrate this. They think connecting these two sketches is as good as an extrusion. But I assure you that it is not. If I go into conceptual, you'll see this is not a solid object. If I try to 3D print this, nothing would happen. I actually need to extrude something to get an extrusion, to get a solid object. So what do I do to do that? I need to go to Loft. So if I click on Loft, I select the first sketch. I'm not going to hit enter yet. I select the second sketch. Shows me a preview of what that looks like. And if I, let me go into conceptual while I do this actually. Loft, first sketch. Don't hit enter yet. Hit that second sketch. Okay, this is looking good, right? Now comes the question, do I select the third sketch or do I need to do this as 2 separate lofts? If you remember from the loft video, if you select 3 sketches, unless they're the same sketch, you're going to get a curve. And these 3 sketches are all different in size. So if I click on all 3, you'll see the result is the outside here is going to be curved. And that is not the shape we want. That is no good. So I'm going to undo that. I will need to do this as 2 separate loft commands. So I'm going to loft first these 2 sketches and hit enter. And then I need to loft the bottom 2. But I'm going to run into an issue because I don't have a sketch on the bottom here anymore. It's gone. When I lofted, it disappeared. So I need to draw a new rectangle. I'll type in rectangle. And I'll just click corner to corner. I shouldn't need to move my UCS because I'm really using edges that I can snap to on that face. I'm just going to rotate a bit to make sure that that sketch didn't go in any funky place. It's actually on the face where I want it to be. Great. I'm going to hit loft and hover over so I can select that sketch. If you have a little trouble selecting the sketch, which happens to me sometimes, hop over to 2D wireframe. It should make it easier. Select the sketch. I can select those 2 now and hit enter and enter again, and then I'll complete the loft. Let me go into conceptual to make sure that turned out okay. I just realized I might have covered that up while I was doing it. So let me go through it again. So I hop back into 2D wireframe. I go to loft. Select the 2 sketches. And I hit enter and enter again. And then I'll hop into conceptual to make sure this looks okay. It looks pretty good. It's kind of hard to tell right now because I can't get in that isometric view because this is rotated wrong. So let me combine these using union and then rotate them so I can check that the isometric looks all right. Rotate. Specify rotation angle, 90 degrees. Good, looks good. This edge I'm not super in love with, but I think, that happens sometimes, even if, this is a consistent angle. But we can look at it from its different views and make sure it's correct. And this looks like a consistent angle, so that's good. That edge had me worried for a second, but this looks good. Let's hop back to the isometric. Looks just like the one in the book. So that's it for Loft and UCS. Please apply these skills to block number 7, and you definitely will need to apply this to your final projects at some point.